Martin,
I don't even know why I do research anymore.
That right there is how I see policing. Now, that was written, strange enough, by Sir Robert Peel in the 1820s, and I think it was quite early 1820s, but it didn't actually come to fruition until the 1840s. Now, that's 170 years old, and it stood us in good stead right up until about the 1980s, and then political interference sneaked in.
Yeah.
And then it really took a grip in the year 2000s, around there. It really took a grip.
I think...
If you read 5, I can't read it on there, but I do know it.
I can read it out. Would you like me to read it out? Which one would you like me to read?
Well, 5 and 7. 5 and 7 are the crucial ones.
Okay, you want 5 and 7. I want to read out 9 as well. So here we go. 5. Shall I go through all of them so that people, in case they can't read it, is that better? Because then...
because this is the fundamental of my argument. This is how police should be. This
is how it should be, isn't it? This is what's actually... the Police Federation follow, and I believe every police officer tries to do, but due to certain restrictions that we'll come to later, they can't. So number 1 is the basic mission for which the police exist is to prevent crime and disorder. Yeah. Yes. Quite an easy one, isn't it? It's like, that's why I kind of have a police force. Right. 2, the ability of the police to perform their duties is dependent upon public approval of police actions. What does that...
just to arrest somebody to satisfy a target, isn't that?
So straight away, if I'm going to use the Coronavirus Act. A lot of arrests are happening and getting thrown out of court because it's just to hit a target, isn't it? It really is. Now, again, I quickly explain or quickly jump in with this is there's three sections. There's politics. And it is covered in this document. There's politics, there's policing, and then there's judiciary. And they're 3 separate things, and they're kept separate for one reason: is to stop, trying to control everything. And this is what you're going to get with the PCC. And this is why it's so important. People, for instance, watch this and share it, just like with all the other candidates as well. I will talk to them about this. Is if you got political power controlling the police force, then they're going to push their agenda. And I think that's where you're coming through in what you wrote in your statement, if I'm correct.
You've absolutely nailed it. That's precisely right. That's exactly what I'm trying to say, yeah.
That's probably a first for me. Well done. So I'm going to get a gold star, put it there. So number 3, police must secure the willing cooperation of the public in voluntary observance of the law to be able to secure and maintain the respect of the public. Yes. Yes.
We police by consent.
This is the point. There is a big thing when people are saying now, I do not consent, because when they're being arrested for the Coronavirus Act, they're not consenting to it, and the police are still arresting them, which is, I'll take this up with Matthew Barber later on because he's deputy PCC, I believe. So if I'm correct, but that's an interesting thing, isn't it? This is why I found this document very interesting to read. And again, I'm like everybody else out there. I'm a human being. And, I'm doing my other things, but obviously when my focus switches to something, I like to investigate and understand and do due diligence if I can. And so that's why we're doing it. So number 4, so this is what you wanted, wasn't it? The degree
number
of
5 and 7, my favorite.
5 and 7, I'll circle them so that I don't get that wrong. See, I apologize. So number 4 was the degree of cooperation of the public that can be secured diminishes proportionality to the necessity of the use of physical force. Yes. Yeah. Minimum force. So just arresting somebody isn't sort of good, is it? It's a bit like, come on, sort yourself, like you said earlier.
To me,
sort yourself out.
Arrest is the last resort.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Should always be. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So number 5 is police seek and preserve public favour, not by catering to public opinion, but constantly demonstrating absolute impartial service to the law.
Mark, this is the Colston statue coming down. This is people damaging the HSBC building. Breaking the law is breaking the law, no matter what the cause. Without the old-fashioned term for that, obviously, was without fear or favour. But we've gone through the oath, so the 4 words now for that is fairness, integrity, diligence, and impartiality. And that, to me, you're showing bias.
Yeah.
And that can't be. You've got to uphold the law, irrespective of who's doing it or what their cause is. It's really fundamental. It's really important.
I'll just grab a bit of coffee. Hang on a sec.
You have a coffee.
Sorry, I have to. I talk too much. I do. So yeah. So it says preserve public favour, not by carrying to public opinion. So yeah. So again, this is what a police officer has, isn't it? They have. I mean, they are their own law in one respect, as in they are put into power, or not put into power. That's a bad thing for me to say. I do apologise, everybody. Strike that from the record, as they say. They have given the ability to act upon that law in their own discretion, is what I would say, isn't it?
Precisely.
And if you're smashing something up, even if it is HS2, you know, you've got to think of it. If that was your property, would you like somebody doing that? And that's where, again, the police would obviously try and take you away. But now it's a bit different, isn't it? If somebody touches the HS2, they're arrested and obviously charged with, you know.
Yeah.
What's the charge? You've been in the police. What would that be?
Well, you're going down the criminal damage act, aren't you?
Right.
Vandalism.
Okay. Yeah, vandalism. That was it. I couldn't remember what it was, but yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? So that was number 5. So let's go back. I wonder how many people are watching this going, or watch it on the replay. By the way, I know a lot of people watch this sort of stuff.
This is important stuff. The Peelian principles are fundamental to policing. Really important.
I will go through this with the other candidates if they obviously show up, as they say. Police use physical. Number 6. Police use physical force to the extent necessary to secure observance of the law or to restore order, only when the exercise of persuasion, advice, and warning is found to be insufficient. Now, this is where the big shout out comes to. What was it? PC Michael Connery, where he did that. He didn't jump in. He didn't say, right, you know, we believe you're a terrorist, or, you know, you're doing this, just give us your details. He treated him with respect, gave him warning, because AB had said a couple of things. And he was like, can you stop that? You know, you're being nasty to me and I'm being nice to you. So give me, you know, treat me like a human being, like you want to be treated. So I thought that very, very interesting. That's what that
Martin, I have to say that that use of force, we're trained really, really well. It's called officer safety training. Yeah. And we're taught by really enthusiastic police officers who just want police officers and everybody to return to their homes as safely as possible. It's the training for that, defence tactic, officer safety training is absolutely marvellous. And, you know, it is covered by law. If people challenge me, well, sometimes they go over the top. I'll accept that. You know, I won't defend the indefensible, but the training given to officers, and from what you're saying, his PC Henri case was absolutely fantastic. You know, and that's down to some brilliant training, and obviously the individual characteristics and skills and ability of that officer, which is really heartening to know. Okay,
so there's a couple of videos I'd like to show you, but I think we'll finish this first, and then we'll come on to that.
Let's get number 7.
Number 7. I should have that thing in 7, or yeah, number 7, whatever. Here we go. Let's bring it up so people can see. Police at all times should maintain a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition that the police are the public and the public are the police. The police being only members of the public who are paid to give full-time attention to duties which are incumbent, I can never say that word properly, on every citizen in the interest of community welfare and existence. So that's an interesting statement. Number 7. That is, I know, no wonder why you chose that, actually, because when I read that number 7, I was like, wow. Oh, okay. So actually, that's why you can do a citizen's arrest, isn't it?
You can do a citizen's arrest, but you know, the police have got to realise that they are representatives of the public. They're not above the public at all, and we shouldn't be acting on behalf of the politicians. Our first responsibility is to the public, and it's as simple as that. And it's a brilliant Principle 7, the Peeling principles, is just a marvelous thing, and the people of Thames Valley should know that. They should be made aware of these principles. And I don't know how it got lost. I don't know.
Citizens or the police?
Where or how it got lost.
The police or the citizens? Who should be made aware of this?
The good people of Thames Valley should know that's what the role of the police is.
Do you know what? I didn't even know about this. This principle policy of policing. I obviously I found this. I think it was about 2 o'clock this morning.
You did incredible.
Yeah,
and I'm grateful to you.
It's one of those things. Well, I try and do my best, but thank you.
No, it's jaw dropping. It's fantastic stuff.
And this is, again, I want police officers out there to not. I do feel that under current guidance or whatever, that too much politics is getting involved in policing and they're not able to conduct their duties as they're supposed to be. Again, politics needs to stay in the politics section, policing needs to stay in the policing section, and obviously,
judiciary.
Yeah, judiciary. Thank you very much. Judiciary needs to stay where it is, obviously, because nobody should be crossing their boundaries. And I do believe, and when I speak to the other candidates, I will be asking them a big question as to why. Really, they shouldn't be standing for any party. No political party should be standing for PCC because it's crossing boundaries. Would you agree?
Absolutely right. Yeah? Absolutely right.
Okay. Again, tell me out there, people. Tell me in the comments, or if you watch, especially watch it on the replay, let me know. Have you heard or seen this ever before? Are you aware of it? And do you believe that things are crossing boundaries that they shouldn't? Because this is how things get mixed up, and we could be the reason why we're in the current state in this country at the moment. And also, this isn't just England. This is not just the United Kingdom. This is around the world. So believe it or not. So quite a big statement there from me. There we go. Number 8. Shall we get back onto obviously these principles? Police should always direct their actions strictly towards their functions and never appear to usurp the powers of the judiciary. So I don't know, usurp. I've never seen that word before. I'm not that educated that well, obviously.
Give up their duty. Shouldn't give up their duty. Usurp.
Oh, okay, right. So yeah. Okay. What about 9 then? So 9 is a great one. The test of police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder, not the visible evidence of police action in dealing with it.
That's Chinese doctor time, isn't it? You pay the Chinese doctor when you're well. It's a brilliant way of looking at it. That if there's peace in the communities and everything, that's what we should be.
That's what we should be measuring.
That's what we should be measuring.
In other words,
all too often we're measuring the things, and obviously the saying there is not all that counts can be measured, and not everything that can be measured counts. And we seem to got this police service where we're trying to measure everything. You can't measure a police officer being on the beat. You simply can't do it. You can't measure how reassured people feel. You can't measure that they're preventing crime, and you can measure that they're getting information intelligence, but a lot of that is stored in somebody's head. When I used to walk around Abingdon, I could see that there was a notorious burglar or something about, and I can note down what they're wearing. So put a shot across their bows to say, look, I know that you're out and about.
I see you. I'm just making a note at 3:23.
This is the essence of policing, and when you withdraw that, the public disengage with the police, and the police disengage with the public, and it's just an awful spiral that you get in. And to turn that to a positive, when we get the bobbies back on the beat, because it will happen, we will start reassuring people, we'll start preventing crime, we'll start getting the information, and we'll get in the right place at the right time. So, and that very last one that you said, number 9, we should be judged when it's peaceful, not when it's
not when there's crime, when we can show that there's loads going on.
When there's public order happening and crimes are happening, that the aim is to not be measuring it at all.
It's like you don't. Yeah, it's like you don't judge how well the dentist's doing by how many teeth he pulls or she pulls, do you?
That's my Chinese doctor thing. My you know, if the dentist is telling you to floss and do all the right things, then that's what he or she should be measured on.
Yeah, it's like the police officer go, I see you. I know, and I've wrote down when you've been here, and that makes them think twice, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you can't beat having a Bobby on the beat, can you? Really? So
you can't, and that gets to the point where over this 3-week journey that